Have you ever wondered how some of these guys get the money to invest in real estate and how they even got started? What's up guys, it's James Allen, the out-of-state investor, and today I want to share with you 8 frugal living tips that have helped me to get out of debt and save enough money to start owning my own rental property. Now, living frugally is something that I've done over the last few years, and it's been amazing the way it's helped me to get started in real estate and now get to the point where things are really starting to snowball. I can't wait to share with you how you can do the same thing, but before I get started, go ahead and push that like button and subscribe to the channel to get notified about new videos like this one. With that said, let's get into it. Living frugally is not something that I've always been focused on. I used to be the kind of guy that would never get into any debt, but at the same time, I was very much a paycheck to paycheck kind of person. I got married a couple years after college, and after about 2.5 years of marriage, my wife quit her job so that she could stay at home with our newborn baby. Now at this point, we were literally losing about $2,000 a month and got to the point where we got in $25,000 of debt. And to make it worse, most of this was high-interest credit card debt. It was a terrible time for us, but I remember thinking that I just couldn't take it anymore and I needed to do something about it. So I started researching online about how to get wealthy, and real estate kept coming up. I found out that 90% of all millionaires invested in real estate. So when I saw that, I decided that I had to do whatever it took to start investing myself. The thing is, if you want to start investing in rental properties, it's going to cost a decent amount of money to do it. So how much money does it cost to start in real estate? Well, for me, it was saving up my first $25,000 to cover my down payment, my closing costs, and a bit of reserves so that I could buy a single family property. Now, we knew that we didn't make huge salaries, and we also knew that if we were going to acquire a lot of money to not only eliminate debt, but also invest in real estate, then we would have to dramatically lower our monthly expenses. So here are 8 ways that we use frugal living to start owning rental property. Number 1. Housing expenses. Housing is normally the biggest living expense that you'll have. So if you can do something to lower or even eliminate that expense, this can be huge in saving you a lot of money fast. The standard rule that's always thrown around is to spend about 1/3 of your income on your housing expenses. Some people will stretch themselves so thin to use as much as 50% of their income on housing. Now for us, we live in Los Angeles where the housing prices and rents are absolutely insane. So it didn't leave us with a lot of options. The way we dramatically changed our housing expense was making the choice to live with family. Now, this is not the easiest thing to do, and it's a massive sacrifice to not have your own place to live in with your family of 4. But honestly, this has played the biggest role in us getting back on our feet, starting in real estate, and scaling as fast as we have. We actually still live with my wife's family to this date in order to help us scale even faster. And as you'd expect, when I tell people this, I get some really strange looks from them. But you know what? We just use our goals as fuel to keep us going every single day. Another great way to lower or eliminate your housing expenses is called house hacking. Now this works particularly well in cheaper markets, but it really can work anywhere. House hacking is when you purchase a 2 to 4 unit multifamily property and live in one of the units while you rent out the others. Now this will allow you to use your rents from your tenants to cover the whole entire mortgage payment and lower your cost of housing even to the point where you could live for free. The cool thing about this is not only will it lower or eliminate your housing expense, but you're also building equity as your tenants pay down your mortgage for you, and you're also going to gain appreciation over the long run as well. Number 2, transportation. Transportation is the next biggest expense that most people come across. Many people in today's society, they like to get these nice luxury cars. And the funny thing is that while some of these people may well be rich, a good portion of these people actually live paycheck to paycheck. And they can never get ahead because they invest all their money into depreciating assets. And even worse than that, many of these people will actually buy these cars to try and impress people that they don't even like. This is a typical middle-class mentality and sets you back from building serious wealth. When we made the decision to start living frugally, my wife and I sold our brand new Honda CR-V and purchased an old 2003 PT Cruiser for $1,200 cash. My car had just been paid off, and we still drive both of these cars to this day. Now, we may not impress a bunch of people as we drive around as a family of 4 in a beat-up purple PT Cruiser, but it has been helping us to save an extra $600 to $800 every month just by doing this. And a way to take this to the next level and save even more money on your transportation costs is to live really close to your job and bike to work instead. This will save you money not just on your car payments, but also on your insurance, gas, and any maintenance costs that you typically deal with on a car. Plus, a little exercise never really hurt anybody. Number 3, food. Food can be another big expense that's stopping you from pocketing lots of money. This is the one that we struggle with the most because we were such big foodies. And when we were first getting out of debt and saving for our first property, we set a tight budget of $125 a month for groceries, including food for our newborn daughter. And it's funny because when we set that budget, we had no idea how we were even going to stick to it. But when you set goals on paper, somehow you find a way to make it work. We found one of the cheapest grocery stores in town, and when we shopped there, we would buy all no-name brands. In fact, I actually remember a time when we were walking down one of the aisles of the grocery store and my wife was like, "Oh, let's get those Aunt Jemima pancakes." And I was like, "Aunt Jemima? No, we're getting Krusties." And she did not take that very well, to the point where on our first day of grocery shopping, we ended up getting in a big old argument about it, and my wife was literally crying outside the store. So my point in sharing all that is that it's going to be hard if you're adjusting from a completely different way of life, but the best way to change is just to rip off that Band-Aid. Now, aside from that, we also gave ourselves an extra $25 a week to spend on eating out. Now, it was extremely hard, but really effective. And when we looked back on our previous bills, we realized that we were actually spending $1,200 a month on food. So by being frugal like this, we were able to save almost $1,000 a month. Also, things like bringing food to work and eliminating consistent trips to Starbucks go a long way. Did you know that if you spend $5 on a cup of coffee every day, then you're actually spending almost $2,000 a year just on coffee? To avoid this, we purchased a $250 coffee grinder to make some awesome coffee at home and eliminate those trips to Starbucks. Today, we've decided to get more lax with our food costs since it's something that we actually enjoy, but we still mostly eat in our house and limit ourselves to going out twice a week for food along with the occasional Starbucks. Number 4, travel. Everyone loves to go on vacation and travel when they get the opportunity. The problem is traveling is expensive. But with every problem, there is a solution, and for traveling, the solution is credit card hacking. Credit card hacking is basically taking advantage of all the reward points that credit card companies are offering. A lot of credit card companies today offer over 50 or 70,000 bonus points just for signing up and spending a few $1,000s in the first few months. Obviously, the specific terms are going to depend on the company, but the point is, utilizing cards in a smart way can give you the opportunity to vacation for free. For us, this has been the way that we've been able to travel so much. We hardly ever spend money on flights anymore. I take advantage of any rehabs on my properties and get literally thousands of points for doing that. There's also a perk to having multiple credit cards aside from the initial signing bonus. Some cards will offer 2 times or 3 times points on certain products or services. Now, when you have multiple cards, you can use the strengths of every card depending on what you're spending your money on. For instance, one credit card may give me 3 times points on all transportation costs. So when I'm pumping gas or I'm taking an Uber, I'm going to use that credit card. Whereas another card may give me 3 times points on dining out. So every time I go to a restaurant with my wife, I'm going to use that card so that I get the maximum points. With that said, I make sure to never carry a balance so that I avoid paying any kind of interest. There's so many ways to take advantage of this, and if you go to thepointsguy.com, they have great reading material on how to utilize credit cards in a smart way. Number 5, health insurance. Health insurance is well known for being overpriced in this country. It amounts to one of the largest expenses that you can come across. If you're looking into getting a discount on your insurance, but you don't qualify for any government assistance, there are still options available to pay less on your health insurance. There's a couple of private programs out there called Samaritan Ministries and Medishare. They're both different programs, but with Samaritan Ministries, you can get coverage for a family of 5 for as low as $250 $100 a month with 90% coverage of up to $236,500, or you can use their classic package to get 100% coverage of up to $250,000, and that is as low as $495 a month for a family of 5. Now, I haven't personally used either of these programs, but I do have friends that have, and they had nothing but good things to say about both of these programs. I've also put their websites in the description below so that you can check out all the finer details such as deductibles and other things like that. Number 6. Consumer debt. One of the biggest ways to stop yourself from saving money is having high interest consumer debt. Getting involved in this kind of debt is the worst because you're paying money every month and you're not getting anything in return. Consumer debt would include things like credit cards, personal loans. You get the idea. Now, most of these loans or credit cards carry interest rates of at least 10% interest and can be as high as 36% interest if you get the new First Premier Bank credit card. When you get into this high interest debt, it can make you feel like you're fighting an uphill battle that you're never going to win. When you make the decision to start saving, throw everything you can first into killing your high interest debt. Make sure that you know what the interest rates are for all your credit cards and loans, and start off by paying the highest interest rate card first. This will be a snowball effect that will allow you to save more money the next month and even more money the following month after that as your monthly credit card payments go down. You can easily increase the amount of money you pocket by hundreds of dollars a month just by eliminating debt, so make that your first priority when you start saving money. Number 7. Cut the cord. You don't need to have DirecTV or other television services these days when you have access to great options like Hulu and Netflix. DirecTV always starts at a semi-reasonable price, but before long, it's easy to find your bill in the range of $100 to $200 a month. Netflix offers packages as cheap as $8.99 a month, so when choosing to live frugal, switching from your traditional television service providers to a Netflix or Hulu account can save you over $100 a month. We continue to use streaming providers like Netflix and Hulu to this day, and honestly, I've never felt like I'm missing out. Number 8, miscellaneous. So for the most part, I've covered the biggest expenses that you can tackle. There are, of course, other expenses that you'll come across, such as shopping, entertainment, and other personal luxuries. Now, my thoughts on this is I really just get what I need and not what I want. Sure, it'd be nice to purchase NBA tickets here and there, go see my Clippers play, go Clippers, or go see some of my favorite artists in concert, but every time I make a choice to do that, I'm delaying myself from hitting my goals. So I don't normally pay for anything like that, but what I do is I'll ask for my birthday or Christmas gifts to be entertainment events like that, so I still feel like I get to do those fun things. For clothes, I normally shop at H&M or somewhere relatively cheap, and you know what? Making the occasional exception is not a big deal. My philosophy on eliminating debt and saving money is that if you can tackle those first 7 things I talked about, and particularly the first 6, then it really won't matter too much if you're making the occasional exception for a nice shirt, a Starbucks drink, or other minor things like that. In conclusion, if you start to utilize these 8 tips, I promise you that you will be able to start eliminating debt, building up your savings, and giving yourself better opportunities for investments and growing your wealth. As always, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and push that like button and comment down below to tell me what your biggest takeaway was, or if you have any questions. Also, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Lastly, stay up to date with me on Instagram at the Out of State Investor. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.